Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joanna Sutton. I'm your host for today's event, as well as the director of the Corner Launchbox at Penn State, New Kensington. It is amazing. Thank you for being here for this year's Inc.U Student Pitch Competition. We have 6 undergraduate teams from 4 of our Penn State campuses, Abington, Berks, Harrisburg, and University Park, all here today to compete for cash prizes totaling $30,000, which will be awarded at the end of today's event. These teams have been working for months and even years refining their business ideas, and they're here today with an opportunity to take another big step forward in their entrepreneurial journeys. Of course, this competition could not happen without the support of our sponsors, as well as the amazing Launchbox staff across the Commonwealth who provide the coaching and mentoring necessary to prepare these teams for today's event. First, I would like to also introduce you to our panel of judges who will be deciding who receives cash prizes today. First, we have Jen Gilberg, the Deputy Secretary of Technology and Entrepreneurship from the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development. We have John Rogers, the Senior Vice President at PNC Bank, and Ted Grafe, the Director of Engineering Entrepreneurship here at Penn State. So we thank them for participating today. Yes. However, they are not the only judges in the room today. You also have a say. In addition, we have a $2,500 People's Choice Award that is sponsored by the Engineering Entrepreneurship Program. So you get to vote for your favorite team, along with Penn State students, staff, and faculty to cast their vote for their team of their choice. So please participate by taking the cards on your seats, choosing your favorite team, and just dropping them in the clear box at the back near the entrance once the pitches have been completed. That award will be made after the competition this next Thursday at a student award recognition dinner. Other things to note. So while our judges are deliberating, we will also welcome Ryan and Brady of Team Saveware. They were last year's Inc.U Top Prize winners. So they will be here to share their journey and successes, and we hope that you are inspired by what is possible with passion, innovation, and the support of the Invent Penn State Entrepreneurial Network. And you will be able to ask them questions as well when they're here to kind of tell their stories. Also, Inc.U is really just the beginning of Startup Week powered by PNC, which is a week-long celebration across the Commonwealth that brings together innovators, entrepreneurs, and Penn State alumni in a celebration of student entrepreneurship through a series of networking events, workshops, and pitch competitions, again, across all of our campuses. With that, let's get started with today's Inc.U Student Pitch Competition.
We're trying to change the transition from high school to colleges across the country, getting rid of the anxiety and the fear factor, and we just want to make that transition as seamless as possible. I'm Nicholas Restrepo, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of SlamDu. SlamDu is a roommate matching service and community building platform entirely based on Instagram, and it's revolutionizing the way that college students connect. We started with one school, and it just kept growing and growing, and now this year we're at over 106 schools across the country. And I met my roommate that way, a ton of friends, and now I have a great friend group, which almost half of them came from our own company and our own Penn State page. Other companies out there that are trying to replicate the same thing that we do, they're more of a B2B business where they want to connect with the school more. And we don't feel like that's the right case because we want to prioritize the student. We're working on to becoming the hub for everything college, and we would love to keep growing and help more people out. We want to have something for everybody.
Hey everybody, meet Sarah. Now Sarah is a high school senior. Like many soon-to-be college students, Sarah was thrilled about this idea of starting a new chapter of her life. But behind all that excitement, Sarah was overwhelmed by uncertainty. Who would she live with? Who would her friends be? Would anybody even like her? Well, unfortunately, Sarah isn't alone. Myself included, over 68% of incoming freshmen feel some kind of anxiety about making those social relationships in their first few weeks of school. And that is where SlamDu comes in. We are the middlemen facilitating relationships from one student to thousands of others. But how does Sarah actually utilize our platform? Well, it's simple. Imagine she just received her acceptance letter to the University of Tennessee. She finds our Instagram account through word of mouth, direct outreach, and targeted ads. Now, this account is meant to feature the incoming freshman class just for the University of Tennessee. Now, when she decides she wants to get posted so that others can start reaching out to her, it's super simple. She sends us 1 to 10 pictures and a small bio about herself. She selects a payment option, we get her posted, and she can start connecting ASAP. Now, to explain how big this market really is, there are over 4.9 million incoming freshmen every single year, and over 76% of them use Instagram as their primary platform. But nobody was tapping into this market the right way. And this is why the concept works so well. It works so well, in fact, that we've been able to do over $100,000 in revenue in our first official year of operating. But we're more than just revenue. We're building a movement. We run over 100 Instagram accounts and communities around the country, and have amassed over 10,000 active customers with an average of 70 million monthly impressions. And this is still just the start. Now, on a day-to-day, I grow, run, and manage these Instagram accounts and communities. But at the end of the day, I'm a freshman in college who's trying to balance business, school, and life. And it's not physically possible for SlamU to grow any faster, which is why I need you. Now, with this $15,000, we would be able to hire a full-time operations manager to run, grow, manage these accounts and take them to the next level. With this additional person, we would be able, by next year, I can confidently say that we would be able to get to over 350 schools, expanding our reach by over 250%. Now, having this additional team member would allow me to get away from the day-to-day tasks so that when I focus on the business, it's about strategy and the next steps for SlamU. But what is the vision? Well, the vision for SlamU is to become the go-to platform for all things college, from roommates to social connections to events and beyond. But like I said, we're not just building a business, we're building a movement. So I'd love your support to take SlamU to the next level. Thank you.
So congratulations, that is pretty amazing for your first year out the gate, so that's exciting. A question I have is your traction like all B2C? So you're growing communities within a certain university. Is there an opportunity to address this like more B2B, so get Penn State to utilize the platform so they can better match freshmen or incoming student roommates?
Yeah, first, thank you for the question.
Okay.
And right now, we're almost entirely B2C.
Okay.
There are other people who try to do B2B where they want to connect with the school, for example, Penn State, University of Tennessee, whatever it is. But we feel it's better to connect with the student so that there's no regulations, that we can entirely focus on the customer. And we know how to do that because I'm a customer, I was a customer, and I know the target market really, really well.
So what's the level of saturation for a particular university before it's useful? So is it 100 students, 500 students?
It really does depend. I mean, it depends on the school, the location, just the way the school works. But essentially, we start these accounts free of charge. And for example, let's say like our Penn State page, we get it to around 500 free posts. So those are 500 customers. And once it reaches that threshold, we decide to make it a paid option just so we can help more and more students and do it at a better rate. But it really does depend for per school.
Great. Go ahead.
All right, thanks, Jen. A quick question, who owns the data that you accumulate as students go through this process?
Well, we do. At the end we don't really, the data that we collect is their names, their email, their phone numbers, and obviously the school that they go to. And their Instagram accounts as well, their social media. But everything we do is like they can approve it or not. Whether they just want to give us their name, that's entirely up to them. And they can also deselect at any time. So in our customer portal, they can entirely choose what they want to give us, what they don't. So it's super customizable and like entirely up to the customer.
Okay, and then how does that translate into your revenue model?
The data? As of right now, we haven't done too much with the data as we're still growing, and this is now like our second official year. So as we keep growing and growing and getting more schools, we hope to use the data to be able to help the student more, figure out what they like, what they don't like, and just be able to use it more and more. But right now, it's not a factor in the revenue.
Thanks, John. So you bring students on to get them set up to come to college. How do you keep them as customers once they get to college? What's your customer retention rate?
Of course. So right now is honestly the high period because May 1st is the deadline. So our average customer retention rate right now is about 4.5 months, which is when they're subscribed to our platform, which is $5 a month, they get access to scholarship opportunities, promotions to our brand partners, and much, much more. And so what we're working on now, the future vision, which is why we need the help from Inc.U, from you guys, is to grow that vision. Because right now we can bring the customers in very easily, but we're trying to keep them. And so we want to become like the go-to platform, the hub for everything college. So whether you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, whatever it is, if you need something, we have it for you.
And along with that, is it a one-time fee or is it a monthly fee? How do you?
Well, as of right now, we have 2 payment options for these accounts. One is the $5 a month subscription model. And like I said, that's around 4.5 months per student, which is right when they start. And the other one is a $20 one-time payment. But we hope as things go on that maybe it's going to be a subscription model that they stay through within college, or maybe it's that one-time fee. I can't confidently say right now as things are always changing.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
I'm confident that I can grow anybody. I think by humanizing our clients and kind of showing the hardships and challenges they go through, that's what really builds a brand. And that's exactly what I do through my social media services. My name is Andy Vitale, and I'm the founder of 5 South 5. We're a social media marketing agency that creates, strategizes, and manages organic short-form content for artists, athletes, and influencers. I'm a broadcast journalism student, minoring in digital media trends and analytics. They know how to be on camera, know how to advertise, know how to run a business. We're actually fully organic, and I really pride myself on that. I worked with some DJs, and we were able to get them 21 million views on a single video, and that had them being reached out to by the city of Las Vegas, Cetaphil, CVS, JCPenney, some incredible companies. Right now I'm doing everything by myself and managing it, but I absolutely would love to scale, and that means bringing on more people and kind of investing more capital into the business. I put my all into this. This is my dream, and I chase it every single day, and I work my butt off, and I give 110%. Why wouldn't you give any less if you have a dream to chase? So you can't complain that you have a lot on your plate when your goal is to eat. Growing up, I documented 3 main passions on social media: sports, music, and content creation. And this was my life until the age of 17 when I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, meaning I could no longer pursue these passions the same way. But I wanted to stay involved, so I started a podcast where I interviewed artists, athletes, and influencers. And it ended up doing really well. I actually found success in those same areas that I was once pursuing. And as my success grew, so did the requests for help from my friends. And I started to realize that people consistently lack time and knowledge in order to be successful on social media. So I thought, why not bridge this gap and turn my passion into a business? So this past August, I launched 5 South 5, after the room I was hospitalized in, to show that every setback is a setup for something greater. Goldman Sachs reported that there are 50 million creators globally, growing at a 20% average rate. A 20% average rate. But the caveat here, 90% of them have less than 10,000 followers and take an average of 6.5 months to get their first dollar. This is a major issue for clients, especially because the successful creators already have a proven formula for success, which means that it's virtually impossible to compete with them at such a high scale. But what if you had 8 years of industry knowledge, time, and experience at your fingertips, and were able to achieve these goals at a fraction of the cost? Well, that's exactly what I do. I offer 5 core services in 3 main areas. I offer strategy, creation, and management. And to put that simply, I give you ideas for videos. I can make the videos for you, or I can post them to your pages. I offer a 3-tier subscription model, but I often very flexible and will tailor it to whatever your needs are. And I've had some incredible experiences. I've worked with over 20 paying clients and gotten some incredible results. Over 30 million total organic impressions and 1.3 million combined followers. I've worked with professional athletes in the NFL and Olympians. I've had a 23 million impression campaign with artists, and I've gotten videos for influencers to over 100,000 views. And I believe in giving back, so I provide my services pro bono to the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. We'll begin working with the Eagles Autism Foundation in May. But truly, what's the point of these social media impressions if they don't impact your life in real life? That's what I do. I turn social media impressions monetary into real life experiences. And for me, that looks like getting my clients bigger bookings and venues and even throwing shows myself. It looks like national news coverage from the biggest outlets in the nation. And it looks like getting them endorsement deals with some of the biggest companies in the world. But I'm not stopping there. I want to be the go-to for social media success for rising creators, but I can't do that without the investment. Right now, I've made about $10,000 and expect to make $30,000 within the next 12 months with consistent year-over-year growth for the next 5 years. But I can't do that without the investment. With the Inc.U funding, I plan to scale operations by expanding my team and purchasing equipment to increase the quality of content for myself and my clients. At 5 South 5, we're opening the doors for creators of tomorrow, and you have the key. Thank you.
So what I love about your backstory is how you've pivoted.
Besides the
many-
fumbling of the slide.
No, you're fine. Is how you pivoted. So you had a goal,
Yeah.
you couldn't reach that goal, so you made a pivot. And I think every entrepreneur should pay attention to that because you
Yeah.
constantly
Thank you.
need to be pivoting when you're building a business. So congratulations for at
Thank
least
you.
starting out with that mindset, and glad you're healthy.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So one question I have two kind of things come to mind. One is how you scale this.
Absolutely.
So is this, your involvement is in everything. Is there anything that, you could apply AI to or anything that you could potentially automate?
Yeah.
And then the second part of my question is, versus a flat fee, is there an opportunity to do more of a royalty license so you could capitalize on the upside of
Absolutely.
your clients?
Yeah, thank you for the question. And you bring up a great point about AI. I mean, how do you outpace something that is outgrowing every human possible? It's virtually impossible. But the answer is to really grow with it. I mean, studies show that it increases efficiency by 35%, and that can definitely help me, whether it's ideating content, whether it's video editing for me. I think scaling is going to involve AI. I think it's also going to include expanding my team so that I can just increase output, increase the volume of clients that I'm able to handle. And I also think it's looking to new channels of revenue. So that means like courses, workshops, PDFs that people can buy. As far as the retainer fee question, there actually is plenty of opportunities to get royalties. So for example, with the middle guy right here, ECBNJ, we had a clause where I would get a commission if he was able to book a certain amount of shows, and he actually did that, and I was able to achieve that clause.
Okay.
Looking forward, I definitely expect to do that with sales of merchandise, shows, jersey sales for athletes, really anything. But that's definitely a thought that's on my mind and a great point that you bring up.
And are you tapping into NIL for like the local Penn State athletes?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm definitely looking into NIL, seeing how I could best support my athletes.
Okay,
Yeah. Does
great.
that answer your question?
Yeah,
Cool, thank
thanks.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, great presentation.
Thank you, John.
Let me just ask you, what is your marketing plan? Based
Marketing.
on where you are at this point, and how to get to the next level?
Yeah, so I think it would be really unfortunate if I was a social media marketing agency and couldn't promote myself on
Right.
social media. So that's what I've been doing. I've been posting daily content, whether that's doing case studies on certain influencers, whether that's doing just general tips, how to expand your social media presence. And I've actually gotten one of my biggest clients. It's actually Fetty. It's backed by Mark Cuban. Just got $8 million in seed funding. They do $20 million a year. I got it from that one video because one of the biggest influencers actually reposted it. The founder followed me, and we got off a call yesterday. I was helping with this pitch, so definitely helped me out.
That's great. And any particular hurdles that you had to overcome that you want to bring up, or?
I think it's really just about the quality of the clients. I find that sometimes the clients don't want it as bad as I do, if that makes sense. So sometimes in the early stages, I was working with clients who I'd give them a package of creation and strategy and management, and then they only take the strategy from me. They don't want me to create the videos. They don't care enough to even post them sometimes. So it's really just finding that quality of clients. So that's why I've been working really hard to really vet my clients before I bring them on, to make sure that, I'm bringing on the right people who truly want it so that they can have a spot instead of working with somebody who maybe isn't as eager.
Great answer. All right, thank you.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Can you talk about your customer base? Do you have any specialization with your influencers, or you'll take anybody from any area?
I mean, yeah, I think as long as somebody has a story to tell, it doesn't really matter what industry they're in. I mean, like I said in the video,
Whether they're sports, homemaking, anything, it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, like I said in the video, I'm very confident I can grow everybody. I think it's just about having a story to tell, and I think I do a really good job of telling stories for myself and for clients. So I really think that's the universal thing that really makes content for anybody who needs tips, is just being able to tell a story. So I'm confident that I can, kind of transcend that into any marketplace as far as influencers go.
And you show 160,000 as your revenue goal in a couple of years. How
Yeah.
many people is that to make that happen?
Yeah, so
Is
it
that
totally
you, or-
depends on how many people I end up bringing on as employees, how I'm able to. I mean, I think the goal, I wouldn't want to have 300 clients, maybe 20 to 30 would be really good. So I can still, I never want to sacrifice personalization, and I'm going to try really hard not to. So that means bringing on a few higher paying clients, maybe at a lower volume, and seeing where that goes from there. But also that is also going to include some of like the workshops and the PDFs. So it's kind of those other revenue channels. That's really going to be helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
All right.
We do have busier lifestyles. We're holding less stuff. This is a wallet that really puts that into perspective. My name is Nico Nadro, and my company is CoreCarry. We make minimalistic wallets, trying to use more premium materials like suede leather and metal cash clips, stuff like that. I've always been a bit of a minimalist, and I've had a lot of wallets in my time. There's a lot of things that I liked, but a lot of ways that they also missed out a little bit, and I thought it was time that I kind of fixed it. Being an entrepreneur and student at the same time is pretty tough. You have an extra load. Inc.U has really given me a chance to kind of stop and reflect on the vision that we have going forward. CoreCarry has the opportunity to be a big part of kind of our society's shift to a more digital age, and as our stuff becomes more minimal, being able to create products that reflect this is going to be a big opportunity.
All right. With how much technology is being integrated into our daily lives, our routines have changed a lot, but our wallets aren't keeping up. Recent studies show that digital wallets now account for nearly 50% of all e-commerce transactional value. And my conversations with adult men that carry a wallet on a daily basis only backs this, with over 80% saying that they carry less cards than they did 5 years ago. Now, traditional wallets are not adapting to these changes, and yet the demand for luxury and minimalistic wallets is growing rapidly. So to help with the transition, I introduced the CoreCarry Modern Wallet that adopts the popular card eject function, but combines it with the premium materials like suede leather that people have grown to love with their old wallets. Some of my competitors, like Code 118 and Exter, have utilized these modern card access systems to recently come to the market and take large market share very quickly, but have left many customers dissatisfied with the cheap and flimsy quality. And this is where I wanted to go the extra mile to make a wallet that had that modern functionality, but also the timeless feel that people have grown to love. And it's really struck a chord with my target audience of these older men that are finally transitioning away from having so many cards in that big bulky wallet. And of course, women looking for the perfect gift for their husbands and fathers. And I've been able to target them very easily with meta ads based on their demographics and shopping behaviors to create a lot of recent hype for my product. I've been refining this idea since May of last year with constant communication with my manufacturers and 7 different prototypes until getting one that really got people excited and launching in August of last year. But it wasn't until January that I started meta ads and was able to multiply my monthly revenue by 4 times while keeping the same high profit margins. Now, as for the future, these meta ads are working great, but growth in this market relies on heavy ad testing and continual product innovation. So with this in mind, and in order to begin scaling, I would use the funding in 2 main categories. First, I would hire someone with specialized skills with meta ad strategy in order to help me reduce my cost per result and begin scaling my campaign. And second, I would fund the development of complementary luxury accessories such as my MagSafe portable charger and travel cigar case that I'm already working on launching on my own. These 2 areas would really allow me to take CoreCarry to the next level and make it the everyday carry brand of the future. Thanks.
Were you able to see it? Okay.
Yeah. So I have this for you, and then I also have one of my other products.
So when you say pop-up, oh, here we go.
Yeah, you pull that
Oh,
down.
very cool.
And here's my portable charger if you want to see that as well. It charges your phone wirelessly.
Oh,
Okay.
very cool. Fancy. Well, I have, my one brother carries his credit cards with like a clip.
Yeah.
So he might think this is a huge upgrade. So very cool. I love the idea. One question is, how big is how big of a market do you think this is?
Yeah.
And then how many units have you sold to date?
Sure. So I have a slide here. Maybe I can't go back. I've sold 175, about a little more than that.
Yep.
The market is growing for that specifically, like a more minimalistic wallet, because of how many people are transitioning away.
Okay.
That specific wallets overall is about 25 billion worldwide, but minimalistic and luxury wallets is closer to 10 billion right now. So, and that's growing.
And define old men. Careful.
Anyone with that?
What age?
This is us.
I have over 35 on my.
Ouch.
my
Ow.
I think we're in that category.
I think we're in
I'll
that.
pass
We
it
might
to
be,
you now.
we might be going on it, yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, yes, as the target demographic here.
Just barely though.
Yeah.
I just bought one of these.
Oh, really?
Last month, but it did not have the high-tech ejection
Yeah.
capability there. Interesting. So, yeah, what would you think your distribution channel is mostly going to be online? Is that what you're?
Yeah, so Amazon is good, but it's very impulsive buys. So it's a little cheaper of a price point. So I was running it around $23 early on. And when I switched to mostly doing on my website, I was able to use meta ads and be more creative with those. And I'm now at a price point of $60, which are selling better than it was at 23.
Oh, wow.
So now I'm able to have higher margins and sell like on my website, be more like creative with what I'm advertising as well. So I will probably be sticking mostly with the website moving forward and exploring maybe TikTok as well and different advertising techniques.
Okay, well, I know a guy named Danny Vitale that you might know.
Yes, influencers, there we go.
5 South 5.
Yeah. Well, I think you're going to have a lot of competition.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's niche products in every market.
Of course.
So, you know, I think the more you can distinguish yourself, probably the better.
Exactly, yeah.
So are you right in the same price range as Ridge? Because they
Yeah,
kind
so
of have that.
my biggest competitors, Ridge and Exeter, are closer to $90 to $100.
Okay.
60 has been going well for me, and my margins are already fairly high since my cost per unit is only $5. So I'm able to like kind of keep it fairly low and hit like a more premium product price point while not having to be up there as well. So, yeah.
But if raising the prices worked, have you tried 90?
What was that?
If raising the price worked,
I've
have you
tested
tried it?
everything, yeah. 50 has been working well with a discount of 20 on my website, so oftentimes people can buy it for 42 as well, and that's been gaining a lot of traction.
Okay. Are you looking at another channel beyond doing, it sounds like you're doing pretty much 100% direct right now. Amazon's not really
Yeah.
your market. What channel would you go to next?
So I'm
Retail.
now, immediately in the next like month, I'm looking to do more corporate gifts as well. I'm trying to get into some of those middleman companies as well, and just direct reach out, because that would allow me to get bigger bulk orders and not have to rely on these ads as well all the time. And then, of course, TikTok and stuff like that is growing as well.
Could they brand? So could
Yeah,
if
so
there's maybe-
I'm working with my manufacturer to see if I can like transition to having different logos depending on the company.
How about Etsy?
Yeah, Etsy is good. It's typically lower end price points, so I may explore it a little further in the future, but right now the website's working great.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the corporate gift ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, volume's good.
Branding.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
So 100%.
I feel that my artwork, being that it is made using an ancient art form, it pulls to something that is entirely genuine and authentic that people can truly connect with. My name is Oris Luzecki. The name of my company is Oris Luzecki Artwork. My company makes original artworks primarily in the medium of woodcut printmaking. Professor Bonnie Leventhal was the one who introduced me to the medium. Everything's physical. The wood has to be carved in order for the image to be printed. I felt that this would allow me to mass produce my artwork, yet in an artful fashion. One of my videos has reached close to 5 million views. I sold out. This has also led to thousands of new followers, which has also converted into more sales. Being a business owner while I'm a student can be difficult. Some days are harder than others. The Inc.U Competition has helped me to gain a better perspective on my business, and it has helped me strengthen my business model. So every day is a success in pursuing what I am truly passionate about.
Okay, so our world has become increasingly artificial due to our increasing dependence on technology. Additionally, people feel that artwork is not something that is accessible to them due to its limited quantity as well as its high price points. My business offers authentic quality artwork that is accessible to all art lovers. Each of the images you see here on this screen are all made by me in the medium of woodcut printmaking. This medium is very special as it allows me to mass produce my artwork, yet in a way that maintains its artistic integrity. This means that I can sell my artwork in bulk, and I do so in varied batches based on color. Customers can look through and find the design and color that speaks most to them and easily own one for themselves. I do limited batches of around 10 to 15 to add to a limited aspect to the artwork. This entire process is also entirely done by hand, which gives each artwork a unique, one-of-a-kind quality and handmade feel that art lovers are seeking. The process goes as follows. The image is first carved, it is then coated with a layer of ink, and then that is then transferred onto a piece of paper. This unique medium, along with the original designs, offer a one-of-a-kind product customers cannot find anywhere else. In 2023, I was offered my own solo exhibition at Penn State Abington to showcase my work in woodcut printmaking. The reception that I gained from this event showed me the potential these had with a larger audience. I then decided to test the local markets, and I sold them at 2 separate events in the summer of 2024. The one event had a much younger age demographic, and I sold about $500 worth of prints. The second event had a much older age demographic, and I sold about the same amount. So this showed me that these had mass appeal. I then, beginning this year in 2025, began selling my artwork on social media, in which I create short-form content to showcase the process behind each design. A number of my videos have reached over 1 million views, which has converted to a number of online sales. My plans moving forward are to venture into new markets that relate to my original designs. I've already done so, as I've sold a tattoo ticket to a customer in Germany who wanted to tattoo one of my designs onto their body. I also was offered to illustrate this book cover after someone had seen my work in woodcut printmaking. My next plans moving forward are to begin producing and selling my own t-shirts that feature my designs to further vary my product catalog. The winnings from the Inc.U Competition will be put towards purchasing new equipment that will help me produce more products so that I can offer them to my customers. Additionally, it will help me to venture to more in-person art shows so that I can further expand my audience. Thank you.
I'm getting a Where the Wild Things Are vibe. Was
Yeah,
that
thank
one
you.
of your influencers?
Yeah, I think I grew. Oh, and this is a sample you can see up close, and that's how they come packaged as well. That was definitely something that I grew up reading, so I think
so you
it's
think
in my
subliminally?
subconscious.
Yeah, this is wonderful.
But thank you.
I love it. And a question I have is, have you thought about doing like framing on top of it to try to increase the value?
That I have not yet done, but I hope to in the future. For more in-person art shows, I plan to sell them framed in addition at a higher price point than the ones that are just in the packaging like that.
And what is your price point for this?
So the larger prints are $50, the medium prints of that size are $40, and the smaller size are $30.
Amazing.
They cost,
It is.
the cost for each print is about $4 to $3, depending on the size of the print.
Plus your time and your...
Yes, but once the image is fully carved,
Yeah.
there's a limitless
could-
amount that I could print.
Wonderful. And you have a website?
Correct.
Okay, very cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I kind of feel an opportunity here for expanding the art into almost its own genre, to build other products around it. I like the T-shirt idea. And is that part of the strategy going forward?
Exactly. I hope to merchandise these designs and make a wide range of products. So besides T-shirts, I think these would work well on mugs, thank you cards, even if I illustrated my own book, like line of books that I could further merchandise off of. Additionally, I could always come up with a new design. So the amount of different products that I can offer is up to my own creativity.
Yeah, I think that's a good strategy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, I see a future Life is Good T-shirt line
Yeah,
in
thank you.
all the stores.
Thank you.
So, do you also do, I assume you keep your emails of everybody, do you do direct marketing so you can get repeat sales for your customers that you've gotten so far?
Yeah, so people find me through social media, and my main focus is to cultivate my own online audience and create my own community around my artwork. And this has resulted in a number of repeat customers, as well as customers internationally. So I have sold to Germany, Norway, Iceland. It's all about my social media, and every time someone sees my content, it's just another time that they can connect with the artwork and find an artwork that really resonates with themselves.
Great. And I assume then you can hire people to help you make the artwork and do the framing and all that so that you can scale.
Exactly. So I could hire someone to run my social media account. I could also hire someone to print the images from the blocks onto the paper themselves, and so that I could focus on coming up with the new ideas and carving new blocks. I also could hire someone who can manage all of my shipments, as that does take up a lot of my time at the current
How long
moment.
does it take you to do one of these?
So it varies depending on size. I would say that print itself
That was
took
the
about
box, yeah.
15 to 20 hours to fully carve, but to actually print the prints themselves from the block onto the paper, it's maybe 5 minutes. And that's part of my marketing. I filmed the process of me creating the artwork, and people can see the entire process themselves, and that's where the value is built.
Yeah, I have to say, glad to see you coming from one of the Commonwealth campuses.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As a Penn State Shenango person,
There you go.
glad to
Thank
see
you.
you here.
Thank you for having me.
And there's Gilson Snowboard. Have you heard of them?
No, I have not.
So they'll do custom snowboards,
Okay.
and he'll work with influencers
Oh, wow.
that are artists. And so if you get a big enough following, you could print like this on a snowboard.
Yep.
And for everyone that he sells to your followers, you get like a $500 cut.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that might be something cool to see your artwork on a snowboard.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what I would like to
Yeah.
explore in the future as well. Thank you.
I mean, if it made a tattoo.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Step one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There you go. Very
Excellent-
cool.
Excellent work.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Really
Thank
neat.
you.
Current holster technology hasn't meaningfully innovated in decades, so I really got looking into can they work better, and the answer is they can. I'm Erin Godfrey. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I'm the founder of Joy Tech.
My name is Seth Godfrey. I am a Marine Corps veteran, a police officer, and I am Erin's husband.
Our company created the single press angular retention, or as we call it, the SPAR holster. Current retention holster design has a lot of weak points that allows people to be able to get the weapon out of the holster if they're not the wearer of the holster.
And you know how vulnerable and accessible your firearm is. And I brought Erin a problem, she brought me a solution. This is gonna save lives.
The Inc.U Competition's opened a lot of doors for us, so being able to network within the Penn State community and see there are people and resources there to help us get this thing off the ground has been huge. Once we finalize our phase 2 prototype and have it back from the engineer, we're going to take it straight to testing before we can lay our final patent and get it in the hands of the people who need it. In 2022, a police officer in Illinois was dispatched to a noise complaint and attempted to issue a ticket. The suspect assaulted the officer, stole her firearm, and used it to execute her. In January of this year, officers in New Hampshire attempted to arrest a wanted felon. The suspect stole one of the officer's weapons from his holster and shot him. On January 6, 2021, rioters stormed our Capitol. One officer was pulled into the mob. He was beaten and tased, and the last thing he heard before passing out was the crowd chanting, "Kill him with his own gun." Stories like these aren't hard to find. That's why weapon retention is so crucial to officer safety. We spoke with police officers, looked at current retention holsters, and isolated one major fail point: a complete reliance on poorly implemented mechanical retention. Mechanical retention describes any button or hood that is pressed to draw the gun. A level 1 holster requires 1 button press versus a level 3, which requires 3 presses, and there are 3 issues with this. Poor button placement forces officers to draw with bad technique. Adding buttons slows draw speed, and it does not matter how many buttons you have if the bad guy can press them as easily as the officer can. Once we understood this problem, the solution was simple. We created a new retention philosophy, which we called angular retention. We analyzed proper draw technique and broke it into key positional features, then shaped our holster so only a hand approaching from the proper angle can draw the gun. That angle is biased towards the person wearing it. The SPAR holster features a single point of mechanical retention, but multiple angular features which are totally unique. By combining both mechanical and angular retention, we have created the most secure holster on the market that allows for a smooth, fast draw. We have a working prototype, are officially patent pending, and are working with an engineer to polish our design. Currently, we are arranging third-party testing that will be completed by May of 25. We then plan to license the SPAR holster to manufacturers for production. Funding from this competition will go towards development costs and final patent fees, so we can begin focusing on getting the SPAR holster on the hips of the 1.3 million Americans relying on retention holsters daily. Thank you. Off the stand for that. Absolutely.
So first of all, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
So from a comfort to the wearer,
Yeah.
It looked like some of the other ones were like leather. Is there any feedback that you've gotten as far as comparison to how comfortable this is, being a little bulkier maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. So our holster, the one that you're holding right now, is our phase 2 prototype. It's made from a layered nylon. Once we get into actual development, it will be produced from a thicker nylon or a Kydex material like majority of the holsters that you saw in our presentation, so it will have a little bit more comfort to that. But also, we shaped our holster in such a way so when you're wearing a retention holster, you kind of have to stand like this.
Okay.
Our angular system allows for you to have a little more comfort to kind of rest your arm a little bit if the environment allows you to be relaxed like that. But we did shape it in a way so that it's comfortable to the wearer, and it's actually no larger than the taser holsters that sit on the other side of your hip. We kept it under those parameters to make sure that officers wouldn't look at it and go, oh my goodness, that's huge.
And then dumb question, it's
you're
universal,
good.
like for the belting, like this is a universal fit, so any police department could utilize it.
Yes, absolutely.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your service. And incredible amount of research I think you put into this.
Thank you.
At 1.3 million potential users, what's the revenue potential, do you believe?
Yeah, absolutely.
What would you sell these for?
Yes, so typical retention holsters cost anywhere from $15 to $45 to produce, depending on the amount of mechanical bits that they have in hardware. Since we don't have that much hardware, we're expecting for us to produce at around $30 per holster is what we've been able to find for the material that we want. And holsters sell for anywhere from $90 to $300. So looking at the SPAR holster selling for a profit of approximately $150 per holster, which is mid-range for overall retention holsters, but on the very low end of holsters with this much security. If we can hit just 10% of our overall market within the first 5 years of production, the SPAR holster will see profits of $15.4 million.
Okay. Do you see this being marketed to any other segments? Like, would hunters use this, or?
Yeah, so that's actually a common misconception that we've run into with retention holsters. Retention holsters versus regular carry holsters, they're used solely by any uniformed public safety officials, so that's military, police, corrections, private security, and armed guards. The reason we have such a focus on police officers is because we've shaped our holster with defensive tactics like that hand-to-hand combat in mind, because that's been rapidly evolving in policing, but the holster technology has failed to innovate in the decades that hand-to-hand has. So police officers have the tools that they need to be able to effect arrests with their hands and not their weapons, but their equipment doesn't give them the security to be able to actually do that. So we're focusing on law enforcement to be able to help police officers keep their guns in their holsters as much as possible, resulting in less police-related shootings on both sides of the coin. So that's why we have this law enforcement focus for right now, but there is a broader market that we could fall into.
Well, there's nothing wrong with staying in your lane.
Yeah.
So I think you've identified a great need here and appreciate that. So with a relatively high margin product, why are you thinking about licensing versus making it and actually producing it yourself and selling it?
Yeah, I'm glad that you asked that question. So we're focusing on licensing right now because it's a fairly common thing in our industry, because there are some, I'll call them big dog manufacturers, like Safariland's the biggest one. They made $700 million domestically in just previous year. But with that, we're looking at licensing because it's less of an overhead cost for us, and it will be a quicker way to get it on the hips of police officers, corrections, military police, just because they'll know the name, they'll know the company, so we can get more out to the people who need them faster. But our backup plan right now is to contract with the government. Being a veteran-owned small business, we get priority for bids, and the Army currently is dissatisfied with their current retention holsters, and bidding starts in September of 25, so we're gonna put our name in the pot for that. But at the end of the day, if we have to manufacture ourselves, we will manufacture ourselves. It's just name recognition for current manufacturers has a huge sway in police opinion.
Right, and are you talking to any potential customers right now at all?
So currently right now, with our third-party testing, we have some testing with a private military contractor that will, and we have talked to them negotiating with us with these manufacturers. And we're also working with an accredited police defensive tactics organization to be able to run testing. And they have the doors and kind of the umph that we need to get the manufacturer's attention. But there are different conventions, like there's SHOT Show in January, that would allow us to interact more. So we've started slightly, but we're waiting to get our testing done before we talk with them, just so we have the actual visible data to back us up and not just our word.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Thank you.
Back in 2021, we experienced a lot of crises in America. Food shortages, water crisis all around, and these ideas came to me, as well as my passion for cooking felt like I could really use it to help my community. My name is Brandon Everett, and I'm the owner of Bapanada. Bapanada is an innovative ghost kitchen that serves cultural Latin-style dishes. We serve vegan and vegetarian dishes. We actually really think about the sustainability factor of our food, and we don't want sustainability to not sound delicious. We have planted our change through our business transactions to fund over 700 trees internationally, and that has allowed us to gain even more impact in local corporations such as Amazon, where we have a pop-up restaurant. I always feel very honored to be able to bring my own dream into a reality and show other restaurants that you can be able to create awesome things while also creating awesome dishes.
I love that video. Good afternoon, everyone. Eat less meat and eat more empanadas. Bapanada is culturally familiar. My passion for this business started with my grandmother having her own kitchen, as well as pantry to serve the tenant community in Staten Island. And so her sharing a meal with strangers and creating a lot of harmonious relationships allowed me that same passion. So I decided, hey, I'm gonna create a business. Now, right now, food restaurants and the traditional dining experience is on the decline. We're in the digital era, and a lot of things such as Uber Eats and DoorDash is on the rise. The grab-and-go kind of experience in dining is what's popular now. And so right now, we would like to serve individuals who have dietary restrictions or individuals like people in this room who want healthy, affordable, easy access meals. Now, we've been operating for 4 years, and we grossed $25,000 in revenue just being a part-time business. And we mostly have our models such as catering experiences, private chef dinners, as well as outdoor event models. So since we operate as a business within a business, we have lower fixed costs than a traditional restaurant, and that allows us to capitalize on these experiences. We would utilize the funds primarily to move forward with our outdoor ventures. Our outdoor ventures, we need things like a food generator, display cases, and more storage to be able to facilitate larger scale events. Some scale events that we've been invited to have allowed us to be able to revenue $10,000 to $15,000 in 3 days. And so right now, we are also a Penn State certified vendor. We vend at Berks campus, and as well as we are paired with a nonprofit organization who wants us to vend to other colleges and universities up and down the East Coast. And so with our business model, we can be able to expand and capitalize on those ventures and spread the Bapanada name. Some of our competitors, so like halal carts and empanada carts, do very well, and we know that we can also do just as well too. Right now, we want to be able to focus on sustainability and make sustainability sound fun and easy. So our eco-inventive solutions have allowed us to plant trees in our business's name. We've planted over 800 trees globally, as well as the empanada metric. Basically, through the conservation water-saving process of offsetting poultry beef, you can conserve over 100 gallons in just one empanada. So it's easy, healthy, affordable, and delicious. So, Inc.U, Are you hungry yet?
Where's our sample?
I didn't know if I could bring one.
We had other samples.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Papanatacatering.com.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Frozen orders tab.
Okay.
Okay.
So, awesome. I love that you are focused on sustainability and giving back and planting the trees. I think that's such a cool idea and trend that I like to see startups doing. So I'm a little confused. So where is your kitchen?
Yeah, so the Inn at Center Park is our primary location. That's my mentor's inn. He owns an inn, and so we operate within that ghost kitchen.
And then do you like make a bunch and freeze them, and then for these different events, you heat them up?
That's correct. We are also open for daily orders on the days that he's not running events, so we also do daily orders for curbside pickup and delivery, as well as catering experiences, which kind of tie into our chef dinner. You know, you see a lot of caterers now preparing events with lavish, bubbles and fires and things like that. So a lot of, because we have lower fixed costs, operating as that ghost kitchen, that allows us opportunity to be able to capitalize on higher scale events like that.
Could you sell the frozen?
Yes, we do sell the frozen food.
Okay,
it is papanatacatering.com on a frozen tab, and then we ship. Right now, we're having just shipping located within America. I think international shipping might be a feat that we would have to just do some research and development on. But in the past, I've shipped to Minnesota, California, Florida, and New York.
And then one last question is, have you thought of like food trucks or?
Absolutely, that would serve our outdoor experience model right now. Having a food trailer with the capital that I already have vested into the company, I would also expand on that, but that would get me to my capital would get me to a food trailer, but then what about the equipment that has to go inside the food trailer, which is why we're here today. So again, such as display cases, larger capacity to keep the food cold during those really big events is something that we would need. And also something like a generator, inverter generators, they typically ranged from $3,000 to $5,000 of a pretty good one. And also ones that are good for the planet too, right? So that's a lot of what we would invest our money into.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, good presentation, thank you.
Thank you.
One of the consistent things I see about food items is it's just so difficult to charge what the value you're providing. I mean, you're providing a lot of value between, high quality items, sustainability. Have you ever thought about directly marketing to that to get your customers to pay a premium price?
Yes, so I understand. One of those things for our, and I'll actually just go through these slides because I didn't get to actually go through the slides, so I'll show you them here. So one of those things about that, our frozen food orders actually has a subscription-based kind of billing. So if you did, let's say you're gluten-free and you don't get a lot of options in the area, we are actually able to provide that on a rolling basis, and we would just auto ship them out to you, and you can be able to be good to go. Big thing about the sustainability factor, while it's also, yes, delicious, it's very eco-inventive, it really doesn't cost our business too much to be able to do these things. We normally utilize that whole planting trees aspect through our business transactions that we already run. So therefore, it's not very costly to us, but it is very big. Same thing with the metric of conserving the water. That's the metric that we found by offsetting the poultry industry and the demand for the food that we serve.
Yeah, I love your ghost kitchen idea.
Thank you.
That's such a great idea. I mean, that seems like greatly reduce your capital expenditures. And if you expand geographically, I'm sure, there's restaurants that are only open for breakfast. You could use their kitchen in the evening or vice versa.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and
I think that's great.
One model about that, you have to definitely consider threats. Let's say, God forbid, my mentor, he doesn't continue to run the inn. I've been able to establish in my network connections with other people who have ghost kitchens, or churches even, and churches have kitchens inside of them that you're able to use, proper connections, right? But I have those resources, so that would still not infringe my business, and ironically, that church is right next door to the inn. So that would be great. one thing I really love about having a mentor who's in the kind of like service and hospitality industry is he shows me where to kind of mitigate those fixed costs.
Yeah, I think that's a great part of your business plan.
Thank you. I guess I could go here and just kind of also show you a little bit about that metrics in case in my pitch, if it was too fast to understand, but that basically is, you know, the water cycle and then how much water is consumed in the plant-based industry. The plant-based industry is expected to make $5 billion this year, and so penetrating this market could be very...
You have to worry about bird flu.
Yes, you know, there are definitely a lot of pros and to being in the plant-based industry.
Yeah, hopefully eggs aren't one of your ingredients. Congratulations on getting onto the Penn State vendors. I know that's there's certainly some paperwork involved in that, so that's great as well.
Yes.
Good to focus on your sustainability. What is your primary outlet? You talked about catering, you talked about deliveries. I guess I'm a little unclear on what your focus is. If you had to pick one of those, which is the most lucrative for the business and the most productive for you?
Yes, our outdoor events would be the lucrative one. Outdoor and catering is where I get paid the most. Yes, daily orders is great, but in one, I actually just, I have an event later this week, and that's at Reading Area Community College for a catering event. That easy prepaid $1,000. That's just a drop off and go, a touch and go kind of situation. There have been other colleges like Temple University who have asked us to come out there and just vend outside. I have no problem getting myself out there and setting up my, you know, my own little electricity and things like that and setting up as a sidewalk cart vendor. So the outdoor events would allow me would allow me the capacity to attend a larger volume clientele. I've seen myself the Goggle Works events, where actually the Burke's Launchbox is located at the Goggle Works in Reading. And that outdoor event I sold out on. I think I made like probably $2,000 for the day. But if I would have had like, you know, my trailer and things like that to have storage capacity, I could have easily made that a $3,000 day.
And what's your selling price?
So I wish I had that, like my little slide there. Profit margin ranges between 63 and 71%. My empanadas cost about $1.36 to produce. I sell them for $4. My dessert empanadas cost a little bit less than that. Sorry, a little bit more than that. Like I would say like $1.60 on variable average, and I charge $6 per dessert empanada. My trays, you know, tray of 50 dessert empanadas is $300, and so it doesn't cost me any more than like $60 to make or something like that. It's like a little bit.
And are they all gluten-free, or gluten-free is a different?
I offer gluten-free options for every single item on my menu. As the owner and the chef, that would just make me knead the dough from scratch with gluten-free dough rather than using like enriched flour, which a lot of my clients like the gluten-free dough even if they're not gluten-free, which is great for me. Lots of demand in the frozen orders and ordering online with my gluten-free customers. I want everybody to be able to, you know, enjoy deliciousness in a meal. You don't have to, you know, be vegan or vegetarian. You know, you can be what I call, you know, sometimes vegan. But it's really to enjoy, you know, the process of sharing a meal and knowing that it's culturally familiar. I think everybody knows pierogies and empanadas and pastelillos, and so it's affordable and delicious.
And do you have a few subscribers now for?
So my subscribers is what I would actually say is my pop-up restaurant on Amazon, where I have constantly returning customers. The food partner that I was actually able to gain this venture on, they have an app, and that app shows me all of the metrics of the returning customers and what dishes are most popular. So our desserts are most popular, as well as our garlic fried tostones. And we sell combo dishes too. So we don't just sell empanadas only individual. We sell, you know, platters and all these different types of cuisines.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Hey, thank you for your time. Have a great day.
All right, this is the moment everyone has been waiting for, especially our teams who are, I'm sure, nervously sitting by the window. But first, let me say congratulations to all the teams for making it this far. We wish you could all go home with cash prizes, so it's a very, very difficult decision for us every time when we have to make these choices. So we have, again, 3 winners: third place for $5,000, second place for $10,000, and first place for $5,000. All right, with that, I am pleased to announce our third place winner for $5,000 as 5 South 5. Judges will have some words for you as well, yeah.
Congratulations, Danny. I think a couple things stood out. You're definitely the right guy for the right company. Your enthusiasm is fantastic. I think that'll carry over to all of your customers. The other thing was that we felt that you have the company, of the 6 companies that spoke today, your company would fit with 4 of them. They need your services. So I think that's a very clear indication of future success. The one thing, maybe suggestion we would have is make sure you get paid for what you do. You really are doing a great service. So whether it's royalties or your pricing, just make sure that you do get paid because you're doing a great service. Yep, sure.
Yep. Congratulations again. All right. All right, next, our second place winner for $10,000, or Sluice Check Artwork. Yeah, make sure they're...
So congratulations, and I think what excited us about is because it's kind of print technology, there's a lot of places you could take your art. So mugs, T-shirts, we're really excited to see your last slide where you could translate this, and love the creativity. We live in a hard tech world, and so I love that there's still space for incredibly creative artists. We loved your artwork, and congratulations.
Anyone else?
All right, and our first place winner for $15,000, Joytac. Congratulations.
This way, right here. Congratulations. Obviously, we thought your solution has a great need in the market, and obviously it's going to save lives. So that's a wonderful thing. There were a few things that just we thought were great about your product. One of my businesses was selling to police departments, and selling to police departments, if you take care of them, they're great customers. And we were really impressed with that. Also impressed that you've got some IP on the product, which will really help as well. Our one suggestion is just that you do manufacture and just distribute through Safari Land so you're not tied into them, because we think with the margins, being a manufacturer would be fantastic. But congratulations. Excellent product, and we wish you the best of luck.
Yeah. Thank you.